Hey, Lockstin, and I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but I'm sure we can all relate. We all look at memes, right? Please let me know if I'm normal. Memes are legal in my country, right? Yeah, it's not like I'm in England or anything. Though these days, I suppose meme sometimes just means a screen cap of someone else's tweet. But recently, I've seen an influx of this small creature being touted as the world's first real animal that can photosynthesize food from sunlight. At first, I assumed it was a justfacts.org post or something.
And remember, kids, if it's from a .org, you can use it on your bibliography. No one can just buy .orgs.
What a good time the 90s was. But speaking of the 90s, that's when this leaf sheep was found. That's right, I'm talking about the Costalia kuroshime, the leaf slug or leaf sheep. Sometimes it's called the salty ocean caterpillar, but it doesn't really matter what you call it. It's cute, and a species of sacroglossan sea slug, typically a shellless gastropod mollusk, which is science talk for a slug. It's the homeless brother of a snail. And don't worry, I am relating it to Pokémon, I mean clearly. The leaf slug is not just your ordinary sea creature you see. This little creature was found in 1993 off the coast of the Japanese island Kuroshima, hence the name. But this little slug holds a secret, and that secret is in its cute little green fluffy coat. Many sources say that they are actually able to photosynthesize. However, after a quick glance, it seems that people are quick to judge and accept incorrect information if it seems appropriate or is kinda reasonable. My favorite example of this is the fact that iceberg lettuce is named after the fact that if you put it in water, it floats mostly underwater, like an iceberg. That's why it has its name. That statement is totally false, I lied entirely. But it sounded correct, right? It just feels right, even though it's not. Welcome to politics. So, let's first go over what photosynthesis is, and then what things use it are called. In the other order, though, they are called photosynthetic, meaning that they can create their own energy by harnessing sunlight through chloroplasts or carotenoids. The color green might come to mind when I say chloroplast, but carotenoids are something you might not be as familiar with. Carotenoids are plant pigments responsible for bright red, yellow, and orange hues in many fruits and vegetables, like pumpkins, squash, carrots, bell peppers. You get the idea. They also help the plants absorb light energy for use in photosynthesis. Now, the leaf sheep, with its cute little green weaves, must then use chloroplasts. And they get them through a process called kleptoplasty, which means that they steal chloroplasts from the algae that they've eaten. To me, it sounds almost like science fiction, an animal saving only part of the cells it consumes for use in itself? That sounds crazy, but it's not. This process is made possible due to the fact that these slugs have a much less complex food breakdown system than most animals. Its intestinal lining forms a cell pouch to engulf whole cell parts of whatever it is digesting, allowing the chloroplasts to come through, instead of the typical chunking out bits and pieces of everything that humans and most other things do. And it's this absorbing of the chloroplasts from the algae that then enables them to perform photosynthesis. This ability to perform photosynthesis gives the leaf sheep their glow as well, as they are also bioluminescent, as if they couldn't get any cuter? Cuter? How do you say cuter in a woo? These creatures are actually just straight up Pokemon. I mean, come on. Kind of a lame Pokemon, but a Pokemon nonetheless. I mean, heck, it's arguably more of a Pokemon because it's one you can actually just fit in your pocket. And while I am technically correct in saying that they survive off of photosynthesis, they still sorta don't. They are able to live up to 9 months without food because of this plant-based energy. However, the slugs still gotta eat. It's not entirely self-sustainable this way. So while you could say that it's the only one to use photosynthesis, and that still might be true, it still only lives for a few months that way. But also the part where it says it's the only animal that photosynthesizes? That's wrong. There are a few other small slug-like creatures that also use the same process. In fact, slugs aren't even the only creature. Enter the pea aphid. This little gross-looking dude is a very interesting case. In fact, it's captivated scientists so much that they've scoured its entire genome trying to understand its evolution. It's one of those bugs that develops crazy differences with just the smallest tweak to its genes. And one of those differences is in its coloration genes. And of course, like with the leaf sheep, it can use the sun as a food source. Though, instead of stealing chloroplasts, it uses carotenoids. We think. And by we, I mean scientists. While we don't actually know exactly, we can observe a few things that lead us to believe this conclusion. Researchers measured the aphid's ATP, or adenosine triphosphate levels, or energy. If you want to simplify it, here's a grass energy card. Boom, more Pokemon. And the results typically concluded that different colored aphids have different levels of energy in their body, with white colorless aphids having the least, whereas the green has a typical amount, and then the red or orangey aphids had significantly more ATP, specifically also when in the light instead of the dark. While more research is necessary to be sure that aphids have these photosynthetic abilities, it is clear that carotenoids can absorb light and pass that energy on to the aphids. And also some salamanders seem to do it too. I mean, the sun is free energy. Why wouldn't you mooch off that? Stick it to the man. So, what I'm getting at is that the grass-type Pokemon that are more so animals rather than just literally plants, they still work. They still make sense. And given the case of the leaf sheep, perhaps they start to sort of look like that when they do so. So let's ruin a fan favorite now. Do you think Sceptile's arm leaves are more so actual leaves? Or are they like fleshy flops? Unfortunately, all evidence seems to point towards the latter. So, until next time, you never stop using your noggin.